Prowlers have it in their own end, still 7-1, 16:27 to go, second period. Along the near side board, puck tops out. Checo takes a hack at it, misses. Into the offensive zone. Marty, who has a pair of goals already, guides it in deeper. Checo tries to poke it ahead. Oregon got a piece of it. Chartrand into the offensive zone, spins around. Cross ice feed is broken up by Josh Colton. He'll push it back to neutral ice, but off the mark, Tellstrom couldn't get there. Millette out in front and hops over a few sticks, goes wide of the net. Checo pushes it to the near side. 15:45 to go, second period. 7-1 Port Huron. Puck poked away. Coming to the near side, Sneath. Gullo at the blue line, poked it into the zone quickly, sent back down to the Rockers' end. Michigan attempt, and Lakey couldn't get there. Extra pushing and shoving in front of the net. Millette and Blaisdell going at it. And Millette getting close with Blaisdell, wants to hug instead of punch. Well, Blaisdell was actually facing Millette, so he didn't want to go at him. Let's see a look at what was going on. Again, it started with pushing and shoving, and then Millette, him and Blaisdell going to the box. Blaisdell having some extra words. I have a feeling this one will get quite testy. Let's see if anyone gets a power play out of this. 15:07 to go in the second period. 7-1 Port Huron. And it looks like Port Huron's going to take a penalty. Millette has 2 on the board. So I'm assuming Millette got 4 and Blaisdell got 2. That puts us on a power play powered by Continental Electric Products. Proudly made in Michigan, they provide power solutions to industry. Continental is a premier partner of the Motor City Rockets. So Rockers on the power play, they can cut it to 5. Had a halfway decent power play before their own penalty cut it short. McGill Diaz left side, Rivers one-timer goes wide of the net. Johnson to the near side, can't get it out of the zone. Up the end boards. Hall out in front, look for Sneath. Couldn't find number 2. The right skate of Miguel Diaz keeps it in. Along the boards. Back to the point, Rivers, back to McGill Diaz. On the near side, one touch, hopped over the stick of Sneath, and past McGill Diaz, he cuts off a racing Bobby Price looking for a shorthanded chance. 14:23 to go in the second period, 7-1 Port Huron. Prowlers down a man. Motor City trying to take advantage, score 2 in a row, and at least make this game, well, within a mile's reach. Off the end boards to the near side. Ryder lets it slide. Puck into the corner. Checo pokes it ahead along the boards. Tellstrom, 47 seconds left to go in the Millette minor. Checo out in front, backhand save by Cooper. 13:47 to go in the second period, 7-1. Prowlers on top. You're watching Motor City Career Hockey.
The good life shouldn't be reserved for the few. The finest cuisine should always be on the menu. And looking good shouldn't just be for the rich and famous. At Meijer, we believe that real life deserves real good, and we work hard to bring more of it. Here, quality meets value, and selection meets savings. So the good life is always within reach. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
How did Culligan become the worldwide leader in water treatment? 88 years of experience, 46% energy savings, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or our network of more than 600 local water experts? Score big with Culligan Water.
Picked up up front, shot, scores! Summerfly now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
.47 to go in the second period, 7-1 Port Huron on top of Motor City. Rockers have 41 seconds at the power play. Josh Colton at the point to the left side, Tellstrom. Back to Colton. Right side, Ryder. Excuse me, that was Ronan's shot. Deflected and out of the zone and down to the Rockers' end. The puck rolls. 24 seconds until Millette comes out of the box. Tape-to-tape pass. Checo slides it ahead. Tellstrom working for it. To the near side, Colton at the point. Ronan leaves for Colton. 5 seconds on the power play. Down low across the ice, and it hops over the stick of Tellstrom. And out of the box, serving the first 2 minutes. Ahead and look out, Welsh. Saved by Sommerfeld. Straight out of the box and nearly to the back of the net. Checo looking for Ryder, couldn't find it. Now Federley one-on-one. Shot altered but saved by Sommerfeld. Checo dumps it in deep over the official's head. 12:35 to go, second period, 7-1 Port Huron. Rockers have scored the last goal. Lakney broken up by Rivers. He wheels, collects the puck. Lockhart cuts him off. Rivers spins back. Shot pushed aside by Cooper. Gavrilovich had it poked away, and now it's Lakney heading down the ice. Rotundi to cut him off, drop pass, backhand, doesn't make it on net. Second attempt does, and Gullo along the boards. Rotundi's slow to get up, he's on his feet. Johnson to the point. Lockhart head fakes, back to the near side. Johnson down low. 11:47 to go in the second period, 7-1. Port Huron leads. Centering feed broken up. Rivers takes his time. Ahead to Sneed. Gullo on the near side, no one by him. Sneed in close, poked away, and the net came off the moorings. They'll let the play go on. As on the other end, Price has it on the backhand. A cross shot scores. Chartrand from Bobby Price. And it's 8-1 Port Huron. .17 left to go in the second period. Rockers have given up 8. They have never allowed 9 or more goals in a game. Puck behind Sommerfeld. Fox To the point, Parsons puts it back in deep. On the near side, bodies being thrown around again. I have a feeling this one could get testy. Oregon had it knocked away. Cooper didn't get much of it, but got enough of it. And back to neutral ice. Fox. Miguel Diaz shades him into the corner and back behind the net. Parsons, right side, walks up, shot, save, rebound, pushed behind the net. Miguel Diaz, outlets to Hunter Hall. Hall can't get around Parsons. Hall gets it back. 2-on-1. Him and Ronan. Hall had it broken up. Delayed call coming up against Port Huron. Sommerfeld to the bench. 6-on-5 until Port Huron can touch it. Colton walks up, shot, save, rebound loose, and Cooper sprawls out on top of it. 8-1, Port Huron on top, as the Rockers are about to go on another Continental Electric Products power play, proudly made in Michigan. They provide power solutions to industry. Continental, a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. So 2 minutes on the board. Brian Parsons, the guilty party. And maybe Port Huron or Motor City can get goal number 2 on the power play. They have been over so far on the night. Ryder, Checo, Tellstrom, alongside Blaisdell and Colton. The captain, Colton to Blaisdell. Far side, Tellstrom. Back to Blaisdell at the point. Colton, half wall. Slides down low to Checo. Return to Colton. Centers Blaisdell. Stick handles to Colton. Looks on net. Instead gives to Blaisdell. Checo out in front. Trying to muddy up the waters. Right corner shot on net. Checo got a piece of it. Couldn't put it on net. Pass a bit off. Federley comes to pressure. Hops down low. Checo collects. To Colton. 30 seconds into the power play, and the feed off the mark. Sommerfeld will leave it behind for Josh Colton. 1:17 left to go in the Parsons minor penalty. Miguel Diaz waits behind his own net. Strides it out on the near side. Over all 3 lines. Puck hops out. Uh-oh. Chartrand. Him and DeCumbus. One-timer, and it's off the mark. Sommerfeld may have gotten a piece of it as well. Keeps it at 8-1. Ronan. On the near side, Gullo. A cross shot, misses. Out of the zone, hit off the linesman, so it doesn't go the length of the ice. Gullo has numbers, left wing circle. Gullo shot, swallowed up by Cooper. 8:18 left to go in the second period. 8-1 Port Huron. You're watching Rockers Hockey.
Hey, fan members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
The good life shouldn't be reserved for the few. The finest cuisine should always be on the menu. And looking good shouldn't just be for the rich and famous. At Meijer, we believe that real life deserves real good, and we work hard to bring more of it. Here, quality meets value, and selection meets savings. So the good life is always within reach. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
8:18 left to go in the second period. 8-1 Port Huron. Rockers have a power play for the next 18 seconds. A lot of eights in that. Up the draw, pushed over. Down low, Rivers. Behind the net. Along the boards, Rivers leaves it. McGill Diaz walks it up. Off the mark, looking for Gullo. And Parsons out of the box. McGill Diaz shot rings up the backboards. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. McGill Diaz behind the net. Two-line pass to Gullo. Oh, he was touching, looking for Rivers. Just a step or two behind. Gullo off the end boards to the near side. 7:35 to go in the second period. 8-1 Port Huron. Federally. Sauced it past Oregon. Off the end boards, Millette. He's rubbed off the puck to Lakeney. Hall worked around Oregon, but there were too many white sweaters in the vicinity. Rush was neutralized. Oregon to Lakeney. Across to Millette. Stick handling. Spins back. Feed to Parsons, walks up, shot loose out in front, and Rotundi knocks him off. An extra shove from Tyler Fox. He didn't like the physicality. Cover, and we have a draw in the Rockers' end. To the point, slap shot, saved by Sommerfeld. Gavrilovich. Nope, he couldn't handle it. Heinzel ahead for Fox. Right wing circle, point blank look, shot, save. Drew Welsh looking for the Hattie. Out in front, Welsh collects it between the hash marks, shot saved by Sommerfeld. Dare we take a look at the shots on goal right now? 32-15. And the 9th goal by Port Huron. The most the Rockers have ever given up in a game, and there's still 26 minutes left to go. Bobby Price gets one. And the nightmare continues. Just too many high-quality opportunities for Port Huron. (9-1) Prowlers. Colton behind his own net. And for a game that before the puck dropped, we looked at, and again, it wasn't that the Prowlers were necessarily taking their foot off the gas. 9-1, obvious that they did not. But a game where they experimented a little bit, gave some young guys some opportunities. And Matt Graham has to be thrilled with what some of these new guys have been able to accomplish. I mean, you look at the list of goal scorers here in this game. Again, Matt Graham, Tucker Scantleberry, not on the ice. They're the usual suspects. Dylan Marty has 2. Drew Welsh has 2. Bobby Price just netted 1. These are all guys that weren't Prowlers at the start of the week. And they have showed up in spades. Majority of them out of Trine University. And yeah, it's shown up for Port Huron. And what a advantage it must be for Matt Graham, getting to rest himself, Scantlebury, and still be able to comfortably handle this. Rivers gets behind everyone, knocks it down. Rivers makes a move, scores! So Eli Rivers gets the Rockers on the board once again, his 27th of the year. And the Rockers will just go straight to the face-off circle. It's actually a pretty nice move by Eli Rivers. With not a lot of real estate to work with, chips it on the front hand, or the forehand rather. 9-2. Price saved to the corner. Welsh puts it back in deep. Diver. Oh, that one came hot into the Rockers bench. Parsons had to get out of the way. 4:13 left to go in the second period. 9-2 Port Huron on top. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Oh, picked up up front, shot, scores! Numbers line now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, and we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy.
.413 left to go in the second period. Eli Rivers found the back of the net to put a second Rockers goal on the board. Up the first 7 goals of the game. Not much you can play for after that point besides pride. And the Rockers certainly haven't given up on the effort. It just has, to say it hasn't been their night is an understatement. Delayed call coming up against Port Huron. So the Rockers will get another chance on the Continental Electric Products power play. A gaggle of players have the puck pinned to the boards. Squirts out, shot, saved by Cooper. And we're going back on the Continental Electric Products power play. Proudly made in Michigan. Continental provides power solutions to industry. Continental is a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. This time the guilty party is Adam Heinzel. So he'll get 2 for interference. Rockers still over on the power play. And a quick clear by Port Huron. A strong start for the PH penalty kill. Miguel Diaz. A little strong to Gullo. He has to fight it. Rink wide feed. Sneath into the offensive zone. Down low to Rivers. Along the boards. Hall finds Gullo. Back down low. Hall chipped it right into the glove of Cooper. 1:31 left to go in the Heinzel interference minor. 3:13 left to go in the second period. Off the draw, Miguel Diaz. Near side, Gullo. Down low, Checo returns to Gullo to the point, McGill Diaz. Gullo takes his time, slides over to Rivers. He scored the last one-timer, scores! Nick McGill Diaz from Gullo and Rivers. And the Rockers have the third goal of the period. Unfortunately, they still trail by 6. But a nice blast by McGill Diaz, popped the water bottle off of the Prowler net. That's 3 in the frame for Motor City. Some words being exchanged as Brian Parsons was talking with the Rockers bench. I think Tristan Wells had some words. Oregon will return the water bottle to the top of the Rockers or the Prowlers net. Now Brian Parsons talking with Nick McGill Diaz. Off the draw, Port Huron has it. The Rockers are actually winning the period 3-2. Roden shot wide, races for the rebound. First one there, Oregon. Hunter Hall, he goes down to the ice. Rockers, again, they haven't stopped playing with energy. Just, they didn't have a mountain to climb. They had a Mount Everest to climb out of a canyon. And they're winning the period 3-2, but unfortunately, they were down after the first period 7-0. Parsons with more words, this time for Eli Rivers. So Parsons has a burr in his saddle. And the officials trying to make sure the right set of Prowlers are on the ice. Now Heinzel talking to the Rockers bench. And I think we're finally ready to get this one back resumed. Port Huron off the draw. Marty. Nearly had it knocked away, was able to slide it over to Heinzel. Short feet ahead, Federley off the mark to Bussel. Rotundi, he won't get there first, Bussel does. Gavrilovich guides it along the boards. Trying to get it out of the zone. Off the glass. Bussel working in deep. This time the big bruising Belarusin gets called for a penalty. Be curious if that's interference or boarding. And Bussel is going to go as well. He took a hack at Gavrilovich's leg, and Gavrilovich is getting 2 for interference, and Bussel getting 2 for slashing. So we'll have 4-on-4 hockey. I don't know if the tensions will boil over tonight, although the stove is definitely hot. They do play tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We will be broadcasting from McMorran Arena, 6:05 puck drop tomorrow. Yeah, this rivalry never really cools down. So 4-on-4 hockey. And someone just got the boot from the Rockers bench. Unfortunately, I can't see who got tossed, or I believe it was a fan. It was indeed the fan. So we will have to wait a bit, as that only antagonized the Rocker faithful a bit more. Four-on-four hockey, 9-3 Port Huron. Icing the call, it'll come back down to the Port Huron end. So this period will end 4-on-4. 1:33 left to go in the second period. 1:43 for the coinciding minors between Gavrilovich and Bussel. Port Huron behind their own net. Lockhart ahead. Blaisdell in front of the crease, collects, banks ahead, but Millette knocks it back towards the Rockers' end. Blaisdell lost a glove, bodies colliding. Blaisdell will pick up his mitt, and he goes down to the ice, and Millette stands over him. Delayed call. Hunter Hall has words, and again, Reggie Millette facing someone that's not skating away from him, so he won't drop the gloves. And Reggie Millette back to the box. The initial hit, I believe, was clean. I think it was the extracurricular standing over Hunter Hall that earned him the 2 minutes. You know, a 9-3 game is an opportunity. Hey, if you take a 5-minute major, it's not going to hurt your team. But that's twice now, once with Blaisdell, once with Hunter Hall, that they offered to go with Reggie Millette, and he declined. So here's another look, as I believe the initial hit was clean. It was a nice hit by Millette, but it was the extracurriculars that cost him the time in the penalty box. So this is 4-on-3. Alex Johnson didn't like I don't know if he liked the call. Now, Parsons still having words with Rivers. Parsons has been upset this whole second period. So a 4-on-3 Continental Electric Products power play, proudly made in Michigan. They provide power solutions to industry. Continental, a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. Josh Colton drops it back. It's Rivers at the point. Slides it down low. Banks it back to Rivers. Colton gets it back to Rivers. 30 seconds left to go in the period. Rivers leaves for Colton, walks it up, shot, saved by the glove of Cooper. Flashes the leather once again. Reed Cooper has shown the hand-eye coordination a few times. That time, Josh Colton was able to walk it up, and Cooper with a very strong save made it look routine. .22 seconds left to go in the period. Parsons down the length of the ice. Sommerfeld just a step out of the crease. 15 seconds for the Rockers to make a rush. McGill Diaz scored on the last power play. On the right side, Ronan stops. Left side, across Hall, and McGill Diaz put a whack on it. That came off the moorings. 4.5 left to go in the second period. With 4.5 seconds left, I wouldn't mind pulling Sommerfeld here to get a 5-on-3 off the draw. Sneath off the draw, and it's poked away. After 2 periods of play, it's 9-3 Port Huron. as the Rockers actually outscore the Prowlers in the second. But the unfortunate truth that the 7-0 first period happened beforehand. Everyone getting off the ice. 9-3. So everyone got back to their locker room in time, or without incident, as McGill Diaz and Alex Johnson talking with the officials. And Johnson doesn't look like that was a cordial conversation. So McGill Diaz will walk over. Again, 7-0 after 1, 9-3 after 2. TJ Sneath got the scoring started. He scored off of Nick Gullo's pass to make it 7-1. Port Huron would score the next two. Dan Chartrand and Bobby Price each found the back of the net. Eli Rivers from TJ Sneath. I know it won't mean much, but lost in this, TJ Sneath has been on better than a point per game pace. Since he's been back in the lineup, he's actually been pretty darn good for the Rockers. That's 11 points in, I believe, his 6 games back since injury. He's been pretty darn solid. And then Nick Miguel Diaz on a one-timer from Eli Rivers. He picked the corner. It was actually a really nice shot from McGill Diaz. And folks, there's no other way to put it. Tensions have been high in this game, but it's a matchup between Port Huron and Motor City. What do you really expect with that? So after 2 periods of play, it's Port Huron 9, Motor City 3, as the Rockers have given up a franchise record 9 goals in this game. We'll step aside. We'll come back with more here on the Rockers Media Network.
One in 5 children in America go to bed hungry. That's why Kroger has donated 60 million meals to families in Michigan. Join us in ending childhood hunger. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy.
How did Culligan become the worldwide leader in water treatment? 88 years of experience, 46% energy savings, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or our network of more than 600 local water experts? Score big with Culligan Water.
Who is Culligan? We're local water mastery, efficiency, delivery, technology, trustworthy. Culligan, here for every water worry since 1936.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James Campbell, the Rockers in-arena host. I'm here for the first ever 5 minutes in the box, and I'm sitting with Sam Gagnon.
Yes, exactly. That was perfect.
Oh my God, I got it right.
First try.
First try, I got it right. My high school and college French professors and teachers will be so proud of me. So there, that's for you, Madam Blaine. That one's for you, Madam Blaine. So, Sam, I wanted to talk to you because we got the home opener coming up in just a couple days, and we are going up against your former teammates.
Yep.
So, like, how does that feel? Do you have any like animosity towards any of them, or do you think you might have a bit of an advantage being on the team for the last 2 seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I got mixed emotions, to be honest. I'm really excited, obviously, to play hockey and kind of see some old friends, and ultimately, I do want to kind of prove them, like, hey, like, I could play hockey, like, I could do pretty well, and our new team, I really believe in this group, and I'm really excited to, like, showcase our talents and show the fans, like, we are a team to compete with, and definitely we're trying to pump up the I-94 rivalry, so we're definitely looking forward to that, and it's going to be cool to be on the other side this year of that.
You can be on the winning side of the battle of the I-94. Yes. We are the Motor City Rockers, for those who do not know, are back-to-back I-94 champs. So now Sam can be on the winning team instead of the losing team. So Sam, this is your first season with the Rockers. Give the fans a little bit of a background. I know, I believe you grew up in Montreal, and tell us a little bit about your journey going from there to here.
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, I grew up in Montreal. I played there up until I was maybe 16, 17 years old, and then I went to play prep school hockey in Ontario at Ontario Hockey Academy, where I played against some great schools in the United States. It was a great way to get exposure to college, but also junior teams, and ultimately I played in Texas and Toronto for the most part of my junior career, which was, you got two ends of North America there, but it was definitely a lot of fun. I made a lot of great friendships, and ultimately I went to go to college in New England, where I went to Westfield State for 3 years, where I met my fiance, and as well as I went for my grad transfer year at Franklin Pierce, where I for a short stint was coaching for 1 year during COVID, which was a cool experience, and I got to learn the coaching side of the game, but also kind of refine my hockey skills in terms of thinking the game and being able to be a good leader on and off the ice. So I think that was something that was really instrumental to my growth. And then ultimately a couple years went by and my fiance moved to Michigan, and that's what kind of led me to Michigan, playing with Port Huron, and now ultimately with the Rockers.
Well, good thing the fiance led you to such a hockey, a hockey state.
Oh, for sure.
Especially this area, hockey is in the blood of everybody, I'd say, within the Metro Detroit area. So that worked out very well for you.
I've been very grateful, especially being in the United States, being to Boston, Massachusetts, that's a lot of hockey. Everybody loves the Bruins, and then ultimately moving to Michigan and Detroit, obviously original six with Bruins as well. Just nice having that kind of hockey mentality, like you mentioned, and it's a great state for hockey, and it makes me feel at home, because at home, hockey's a religion, as you know, in Montreal. So
just Canada in general,
yes,
I feel.
Canada,
all the Canadians that I know,
hockey. Poutine. That's the two things.
Speaking of poutine, so now that you're here, are there any good poutine spots that you get to visit, or do you have to go back across the border?
So I haven't checked too much in this area. I know when you get closer to Windsor, that border area, there might be some poutine places, but obviously I can only speak to Port Huron. They had some good spots. I know What the Fry was one that we would go to, but I am looking forward to finding some new spots around here. I haven't had the pleasure of finding some yet, but I'm definitely on the lookout, so if you have any recommendations, please.
And for those of you who don't know what poutine is, give them a background.
So, back home we like to call it a heart attack, because there's nothing nutritious about it, but it's French fries with cheese curds. The cheese curds are very, very important. They have to be squeaky. If they're squeaky, they'll be good. And then a very thick layer of gravy.
It's like a brown gravy.
Yes, exactly. And back home, there's a place called Saint-Hubert, and the gravy's so good you can almost drink it out of a cup because it's so good. So yeah, I don't recommend it, but it's something I like.
You've tried it.
Yes.
You've tried it.
Yes. Yes.
So we know you play hockey. I know from the golf outing you play a little bit of golf. So besides hockey and golf, what other interests do you have?
I mean, I like to say I should be running. My fiance's a huge runner, so she definitely tries to get me out there and go for hikes and stuff like that. But obviously, I love playing video games like most of the guys here. But I have been doing a lot of reading of late, which is kind of funny. If you asked me 5 years ago if I read books, I would said you're crazy. But yeah, I definitely try to do some stuff to kind of opened my horizons off the ice. I'm trying to learn the guitar. I have to get a guitar, but like my brother's plays the guitar, and like that's something I want to do. And like sometimes I have spurts of like I want to learn Italian, I want to do this. So I'm always somebody that's trying to do something new.
Very cool. Well, Sam, I appreciate you taking the time to join us for the first ever 5 Minutes in the Box with me. And good luck for the rest of the season. And we'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? It's James, your Motor City Rockers in-arena host, and I'm here, back again, with another 5 Minutes in the Box. This time, I'm being joined by Rico Gonzalez, probably one of the hottest players on the team currently, dude. You've been killing it right now.
Thank you.
Fan favorite. I know the Rocker Roadies, the Booster Club, love you. You're winning fans in the Carolinas after one of the recent games.
Yeah.
You got fans in the Carolinas rooting for you, even after you helped us beat them. How's it feel right now?
I mean, it feels pretty good. I mean, it's always a very humbling compliment, from if you get, compliments from the other teams, fans and stuff. I think that's a testament to, how well you played, but, try not to let too much get to my head and hit the reset button and focus on the big weekend we have coming up.
You have a lot to not allow to get to your head. 2 shutouts within like the last month or so. Congratulations. I know talking to Brady from the broadcast team, like that's a huge achievement. Past seasons, I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 a season. You had 2 like within like 6 games.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic, man. You've been playing very well. I know the team and the fans are very lucky to have you on board and playing for us as opposed to the competition.
Yeah.
So hockey stuff aside, can you tell me a little bit about your journey, like to go from? I know you're a Michigan guy. I think you grew up in Davison. How did you go, from growing up in Davison to now being, a minor league pro hockey goalie?
Yeah. Okay. Well, like funny story of how I started. I remember I was young, probably 9 years old. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, and his dad came down. We were just playing video games in his basement, and he's like, I have to take my son to learn to skate. You're free to stay here, or you can come with, tag along, check it out, whatever you want to do. And I was pretty curious, and I didn't want to stay there by myself, so I tagged along, and I went there, watched him learn to skate. It looked like the most fun I've ever seen, and I went back home to my parents that night and told them, like, begged them to get me signed up to the next whatever that was.
Yeah.
So they did that, and I got on the ice, man, and it was game over ever since. I fell in love with the game right then and there.
Very cool. What possessed you to want to be the guy that takes 50 shots of a big rubber puck every night? Like, what made you decide to go with the goal route?
Well, probably the gear. I remember on my first house team, I was pretty good friends with the goalie, and I think if I was able to get along with the goalie pretty well, then we were probably a lot alike, and I was probably destined to be a goalie in that case. But I loved the gear that he wore. I thought it was the coolest thing. But the first game I ever played goalie, I actually put my pads on the wrong legs.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it was learning experience.
Yeah, well, it's all been up. It's all been up from there.
Yeah.
So outside of hockey, what are some of your interests? What do you do? When you're not, between the pipes. What are you doing? In your spare time.
I like to take it easy. I'm a really pretty laid back guy. I'm more, I like to be outside. I mean, obviously it's really cold right now. The only thing I could do outside right now is probably some ice fishing or something like that, or sledding. You're never too old to go sledding. Love sledding.
One of the sled races are one of the coolest things that we do during intermissions when you guys are playing here at Big Boy Arena. We get some fans from the crowd, we get them on some sleds and make them race around the arena. So sledding's fun. So ice fishing, what's your biggest fish story for us?
Biggest fish story. Well, it's actually probably more so in the summertime. I was just doing some trolling, fishing with my grandfather at the Holloway Reservoir. And just I reeled in probably like the largest pike I've probably ever caught.
Nice. Okay.
I don't remember the exact measurements, but
Show us.
It was probably about that big. Yeah.
That big.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was a young kid, so obviously the fish felt like
probably it
this
was like a
big.
giant. yeah, absolutely.
Summertime is more so my lane. You know, I like to be outside, like I said, and fishing. In the summertime, gardening takes up a lot of my
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
That's actually very interesting. I never would put like a hockey player and gardening together, but I've been recently getting into gardening as well.
Yeah.
Mine's more of a medicinal plant that you grow.
Yeah.
Maybe some vegetables here or there, but what kind of stuff do you grow?
All sorts of things. You know, I like the tending and caring the plants. I feel like, you know, goaltending is such a stressful position, you know, throughout the course of a season. And, you know, sometimes it's nice to just completely detach yourself and just go outside, you know, be a part of nature and just try to give life and nurture the life.
Yeah,
you know, it's just, it's very peaceful. It's
You're
peaceful
a flower
process.
guy. I can tell. You like growing flowers. What's your favorite
Yep.
flower to grow?
Ooh, I think just sunflowers are
Sunflowers, yeah, 'cause they
very
get so big.
majestic. And,
Yeah.
they're beautiful.
Very, very rewarding. But yeah, I totally understand like that rewarding feeling. Like you can see the differences that you're doing with the plant or the sunflower, and you can see it reacting in positive or negative ways.
Exactly.
And you know, like what to do to nurture it.
Yep.
And, all right, man. Well, outdoorsman, a gardener, a professional hockey goalie. Is there anything else that you do or you like to pursue?
I mean, I'm very interested in the sciences and stuff. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
And you know, just basically the study of cells, the study of the building blocks of life. I feel like it's a fascinating universe that we take for granted. You know, it's all around us everywhere.
It sounds like the making of like a superhero. Like you're like one freak gardening accident away from becoming some like sort of like superhero like goalie.
Oh yeah, I think you've seen too many Marvel movies.
Well, yeah, that's true. I do watch a lot of the Marvel movies. So, but Rico, thanks so much for joining us and taking the time to sit with us. Congratulations on all the success you're finding this season. I hope you continue with it through the remainder of the season. We still got, you know, half a season to go.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to say? Anybody you want to say hi to or anything like that?
No, just I mean, I guess I'll say hi to my parents, and I just wanted to thank you know, my teammates and the fans here at Motor City for always being in my corner and lifting me up and having my back.
Awesome.
Makes playing here a hell of a lot easier, and I've very much enjoyed my time here.
Awesome. Rico Gonzalez, we're gonna send it back over to the broadcast studio, over powered by KE Electric Supply.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica.
Guns N' Roses.
Aerosmith.
AC/DC.
Pearl Jam.
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
Tonight's third period is brought to you by RJ's Construction Services. Head to RJ's Construction Services on Facebook or call 248-974-2640 for all things construction services. RJ's Construction Services, a proud partner of the Motor City Rockers. Well, folks, unfortunately, it's 9-3 Port Huron after 2 periods of play. The silver lining, again, it's not much, but after being down 7-0 after 1, the Rockers did take the second period 3-2, and yes, I know Port Huron is playing maybe not as tightly in their own zone. You're playing a little looser when you have a 6-goal lead. Rockers have about a minute of power play, 57 seconds to be, a minute 3 of power play to start the third period. It'll be 4-on-3 for 10 seconds, and then 5-on-4 for 53 seconds. Off the draw, Port Huron controls it. Johnson. Down the length of the ice, rings around the boards to the near side. Lockhart chips it back in. We're to 5-on-4 hockey. Rockers still on the power play. Sneath backhands it in deep. That's Cooper. Rivers guides it along the near side half wall. Gullo to Rivers. He works in close and he's pushed away. Lockhart on the defense. And another clear, and 30 seconds left to go on the Millette minor penalty. McGill Diaz to Gullo. Back behind the net. Pass off the mark, and the remainder of the Millette minor penalty will elapse. Rockers maybe a chance to get one last rush. Unfortunately, will not be able to. Hunter Hall ahead to Ronan. He's pushed up the puck. Millette out of the box, tried to take it away and force a rush. Rockers keep it in the zone. 9-3 Port Huron. And right now, the goal for what should be the goal for both sides is don't do anything dumb. Hopefully the intermission calmed everyone down instead of letting everything manifest in the locker room. And it's a 6-goal game. I know these two teams don't like each other, but they have to meet tomorrow night, and both sides have important games coming up. Rockers still trying to clinch a playoff spot. Port Huron trying to fight for possibly home ice and ward off Watertown to stay out of the play-in game. So both sides have reasons to have everyone available and be at full strength. Can't do that if you're sitting on the bench due to a suspension. Colton behind the net, banks it up the end boards for Blaisdell. Head pass looking for Rotundi of all people. Dropped it off, couldn't find TJ Sneath. Left wing circle, drop pass, shot saved, Sommerfeld, and a clear. I think that hit the hand of Johnson. No, they're gonna say it didn't. And it's a draw in the Rockers' end. Draw on the near side, dot. Bussel. He will draw against TJ Sneath. Sneath wins the draw. Blaisdell goes across to Rotundi. Backhands it down the length of the ice, icing the call. And back into the Rockers' end it goes. Right now, Rotundi playing the forward spot. Believe he's playing that spot in place of Wells, who I don't think has seen action since the fight. I believe he had some cotton swabs up in his nose. Shot deflected, back behind the Rockers' net. Bussel, near side. Out in front, Bussel poked it away, and he picks it back up. Big collision into the boards. Colton off the far wall, and Federley settles it down at his own blue line. 16:53 to go, third period. 9-3 Port Huron. Marty drops it back. Parsons, pass Millette to Heinzel. Millette down low, returns to Heinzel. Parsons banks ahead to Lakney. Getting physical in the corner. Millette comes away with the puck. Over for Heinzel. Left wing circle. Prowlers just sending it around the zone, staying in the perimeter. Deflection up and out of play. 16:11 to go, third period. 9-3. Port Huron on top. Off the low glass, and the Prowlers keep it in the zone. Looking across for Tyler Fox. Prowlers have had it in the Rockers zone for about 2 minutes of game time. It feels like a Prowlers power play out in front, pushed wide. Welsh, he was looking for the hat trick. Sommerfeld got a piece of it, covers it up. And a little extra pushing and shoving. Sommerfeld, I think, took a whack as he covered it up. A very tame conversation. Again, near at the end of the second period, it looked like things might boil over. Cooler heads are starting to prevail. In a 6-goal game, again, there's no reason to worry about extracurriculars. Have to be weary of any punishments being doled out. And to pile on the bad news, folks, I really don't like to just bring this up, but the Venom are winning in Columbus 3-1. There's a shot off the crossbar. No, he scored. Did he score? Sommerfeld going at it with Chartrand. I think they called that a goal. The official was pointing, and everyone trying to keep the peace. I thought the referee was pointing as if it was a goal. We'll get a replay on it. Yeah, that's a goal. Busso makes it 10-3. Double digits for Port Huron. Prowlers have not scored double-digit goals since December 26, 2022, when they put up 10 against the Elmira Mammoth. In other words, it's been a hot minute. 10-3 here tonight. .27 to go in the third period, 10-3 Port Huron. Millette to the left side. Bringing it down low, DeCumbus. Millette throws the body. So Millette, he has words behind with Miguel Diaz. That was a clean hit by Millette. Back to the near side. Lakney, pass broken up by Tellstrom. He'll whack it into the corner. Johnson off the end boards. It stays back behind Sommerfeld. Millette to the near side. Guides it along. Lakney back to the point. Johnson, Lockhart, slap shot, save, Sommerfeld. Corey Checo chips it in deep. 10-3. Port Huron leads. And these two teams will rematch tomorrow, 6 o'clock at McMorran Arena. I will be there. Almost in essence, a beta test broadcast on the road for not just what hopefully would be the postseason, as the Rockers' magic number is 14, although right now tonight not helping the cause, as the Venom still lead 3-1 down in Columbus, which, folks, I'm going to be honest, is quite surprising. So that number would stay at 14, and the Rockers will not be able to clinch this weekend. But going on the road tomorrow, not just to test a potential playoff road broadcast, but test the waters for potentially next year being able to bring you all 56 Rockers games. Sommerfeld covers it up, 13:26 to go in the third period. Sommerfeld, he's not happy, and Blaisdell, he has words with Bussel. And will we keep the peace still? The linesmen are doing their darndest in the corner. And it looks like Eli Rivers, who has not been happy since the start of the night. Him and Chartrand with words, and everyone will skate away unharmed. 13:26 to go in the third. 10-3 Chartrand coming back, and they'll get him to the box. All right, now it's safe to take a break. It's 10-3, Prowlers on top. You're watching Rockers Hockey.
Who is Culligan? We're local water mastery, efficiency, delivery, technology, trustworthy. Culligan, here for every water worry since 1936.
Oh, picked up up front, shot, scores! Numbers one now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, and we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
How did Culligan become the worldwide leader in water treatment? 88 years of experience, 46% energy savings, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or our network of more than 600 local water experts? Score big with Culligan Water.
Rockers going on the Continental Electric Products Power Play. Proudly made in Michigan, Continental provide power solutions to industry. Continental is a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. As Dan Chartrand's in the box. 2 for roughing, and Motor City, I mean, a chance to make the score a little more aesthetically pleasing. Chartrand in the box, and especially at this point, one-timer saved, covered up by Cooper. And a little extra pushing and shoving. Hall. Fox playing peacekeeper. Him and Heinzel had some shoving. But again, at this point, the official, I'm not going to blame them if they call it super tight. The game's been decided. You're going to err on the side of taking guys to the box to try to keep the peace, because these are the situations, and we've seen it in this rivalry before, where everything can break loose. McGill Diaz over to Gullo. To the left side, Rivers shot into the glove of Cooper. 1:34 left to go in the Chartrand minor penalty. 12:59 left to go in the third period. Sneath off the draw to McGill Diaz. Backhands on the near side. Sneath had to gather his stick. McGill Diaz over to Gullo. Slides behind the net, Hunter Hall. Back to the point, one touch. Rivers, shot up the mask, poking at it and covered up by Cooper. Oregon and Hall will turn the other cheek. 10-3, Port Huron on top. Off the draw on the Port Huron end. Shot deflected into the netting. 12:27 to go in the third. 10-3. Port Huron still on top. Again, folks, hopefully you can join us tomorrow as, again, we go on the road, and hopefully it's a much better matchup up at McMorran Arena as Motor City looks to clinch a third straight playoff berth. Magic numbers 14, and by all indications, it will stay at 14. The Venom playing really well down in Columbus. They still lead it 3-1. And, well, not much more need to be said about what's going on here at Big Boy Arena. Tellstrom behind the net. Backhands to the right side. Off the end boards, Tellstrom picks it up. Warding off Parsons to Blaisdell. Chartrand down to 35 seconds in the minor penalty. Parsons clear. Hops off the blue line and coming out to play it, Bryn Sommerfeld. Colton behind the net. Behind McGill Diaz, slows up the breakout. Returns to Colton. Drops it off, Ronan. Return for Colton, but off the mark. 7 seconds left till Chartrand is released. One final clear, and the Prowler penalty kill strikes again. 11:24 to go, third period, 10-3. Port Huron, a 7-goal first, the difference. A very similar story to what we had the last weekend these two teams matched up. It wasn't quite as drastic. It was a 4-goal first period, and then it was a 2-2 game the rest of the way, and you just can't eliminate the first period. And last time it was a 2-2 first, and then, like I said, 4-0 the rest of the way, 6-2 final tonight, 7-0 first period, 3-3 the rest of the way. Shot saved by Cooper, and you'd like to have an ability to say, hey, that brings momentum into the next game, or at least gives you a little bit of confidence, but Port Huron has just, for whatever reason, had the Rockers' number, especially as of late. It could be a confidence thing. You hear Jamison Milam talk about it all the time, but the last 3 meetings now have been absolute shellings. Prowlers win it off the draw. Along the boards, puck hops up. Heinzel all the way down the length of the ice. McGill Diaz won't get there first. It's Reggie Millette who was racing for the puck. Skate of the official gets in the way. Heinzel at the blue line. Ahead to Lakey. He'll pitchfork it into the zone. Blaisdell to McGill Diaz, back to Blaisdell. Under 10 minutes left to go in this one. 10-3 Port Huron. Prowlers, again, without their 2 of their 3 leading scorers in Matt Graham and Tucker Scantleberry, the night off for a lot of young college kids that all shined brightly. Puck goes into the crowd, and with 9:28 to go in the third period, we step aside. 10-3 Port Huron. You're watching Motor City Rocker Hockey.
How did Culligan become the worldwide leader in water treatment? 88 years of experience, 46% energy savings, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or our network of more than 600 local water experts? Score big with Culligan Water.
The good life shouldn't be reserved for the few. The finest cuisine should always be on the menu. And looking good shouldn't just be for the rich and famous. At Meijer, we believe that real life deserves real good, and we work hard to bring more of it. Here, quality meets value, and selection meets savings. So the good life is always within reach. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
9:28 left to go in the third, 10-3. Port Huron has been on top of this one since 59 seconds in. A quick save from Sommerfeld. And again, unfortunately, very surprisingly, Venom are on top of Columbus 3-1. So that will put the Venom a step closer to climbing into the playoff race. Again, the Rockers still will have the advantage. It will, right now it's a 16-point differential. The Venom do have a few games in hand. Venom has a shot not go in, play goes on. Coming into the night, Venom had 3 games in hand. So worst case scenario, if the Venom won all 3 of those games, in reality, that's more of a 7-point lead. And tonight would reduce it to a 4-point lead. Again, that's if the Venom would win all the games they had in hand. Rockers are at Port Huron tomorrow, and then they go to the Dashers for 3. And that is hopefully a spot where when they come back home to Big Boy Arena for their home finale, they don't need it. They can say they've already clinched a playoff spot. McGill Diaz whacks it into the zone. Heinzel behind the net, leaves for Millette. He gives back to Brian Parsons. 8:08 to go in the third period. This one has long since been decided. Checo and Parsons joust for the puck. Ronan back to McGill Diaz. Icing called, and we go back down to the Motor City end. Federally, just inside the blue line, shot glove by Sommerfeld. A quick turnaround tomorrow, again, a 6 o'clock puck drop. Don't mind that. It's, I don't mind the 6 p.m. starts, especially on a Saturday. Not a lot of people coming from work, but it's one of those where you really can't dwell on it, and maybe that's a good thing, that because it's such a quick turnaround. Like, unlike last time when it was started off 4-0 on Saturday night in Port Huron 2 weeks ago, you had all week to sit around. It left a bad taste in their mouth. Now the Rockers came back and rattled off 3 wins last weekend to get 9 points in 3 days, which was huge for the Rockers. But you don't have time to sit and stew in this one. You're obviously not going to be happy in the locker room. It was just the first period. I don't think it's exaggeration to say maybe one of the worst periods the Rockers have ever played. But you came back and you battled, and you like to see that fight from Motor City, that they didn't give up. They didn't hang their heads and say, just get us to tomorrow. They still played hard, and there is something to be commended for that. Obviously, something has to be wildly changed. I don't know if it's a mentality thing or what it may be, if it's a mental block against Port Huron. Because even against other strong teams in the league, Port Huron or Motor City hasn't come out and just laid eggs. They played with Columbus. They went to overtime with Binghamton. They went to Carolina and beat the Thunderbirds. And that was before some of the roster turnover. And you can make the argument that the roster is better now than when they accomplished some of those things. So why with Port Huron is it such a mental block? And part of it is what Coach Milam talked about in the pregame is Port Huron plays with a lot of confidence. They've dominated this series, so they come out and they expect to win. And even it rubbed off on some of the young guys that they get some bounces early as Sommerfeld makes a couple of saves. That someone has to be that spark plug to start tomorrow night. I'm going to tell you right now, the key to the game tomorrow is win the first 10 minutes. And behind the play, Rotundi and Parsons, that is Rotundi and Parsons jawing at each other. I'm actually surprised Rotundi isn't going to the sin bin. Him and Millette had words. Rotundi is not a happy camper. And again, I get it. You're down 10-3. It's a cocktail of emotions. I've been there before, where you're embarrassed, you're mad, you're angry, you aren't sure, you just want to get a fresh start because of the way the game went. Again, keep a cool head. You don't want to pick up any extra penalties beyond today. Sommerfeld struggles to get on top of it. He eventually does. And MacDiver and Millette are hugging. And they go down to the ice. And Millette throwing some blows with Diver. One name's come up a lot tonight, and Tucker Scantleberry, he's been, he was a scratch. Millette's still going. And that might be the end of the night for Reggie Millette. We'll see if MacDiver, if he gets anything for it. Let's take another look. So after the cover-up, Millette engages with Diver and then gives him a hug. And despite having multiple chances earlier in the game to drop the gloves toe-to-toe, he waits till he's on top of MacDiver, and that's what he's fine with, dropping the gloves. So we'll see what the damage is. But I can tell you for a fact, there was one point where Doug Blaisdell offered to go. There was a point where Hunter Hall offered to go. Millette passed it up. But he'll hug and tackle Eli Rivers from behind, and he'll take MacDiver to the ice. So we'll see what the damage is. We have a man in the box. So pardon me, that was Rotundi, not Diver, involved in the scrap, which makes a little more sense. So my apologies, not MacDiver, that was Ryan Rotundi. With the Noble Mutt uniforms, as far as specialty uniforms go, they're not hard to read from behind, but on the side they can be a little tough. So 4 minutes are on the board for Lucas Lake. I believe he's serving for Millette, because unless I just completely missed something, So we'll see what goes in the, so Millette, I'm assuming, is earned a couple of the penalties and probably a misconduct. So the Continental Electric Products Power Play, proudly made in Michigan. They provide power solutions to industry. Continental is a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. Five minutes left to go in the third period. 10-3 Port Huron. Sneath along the boards to the near side. Gullo out in front, shot saved by Cooper from point blank. TJ Sneath looking for another one. 4:37 to go in the third. 10-3 Port Huron on top. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
How did Culligan become the worldwide leader in water treatment? 88 years of experience, 46% energy savings, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or our network of more than 600 local water experts? Score big with Culligan Water.
The good life shouldn't be reserved for the few. The finest cuisine should always be on the menu. And looking good shouldn't just be for the rich and famous. At Meijer, we believe that real life deserves real good, and we work hard to bring more of it. Here, quality meets value, and selection meets savings. So the good life is always within reach. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
(10-3) Port Huron on top. The official ruling is, again, Ryan Rotundi, not Mac Diver, involved with that one. He got 2 for roughing. You got Reggie Millette got 2 for cross-checking, 4 for roughing, and a 10-minute continuation of an altercation misconduct. So his night is done. And the Rockers still on the power play for the next 3 minutes, although down 7 goals. Just a chance to add a couple of points to the scoreboard, or to the scorebook rather. Put another goal or 2 up, make it look slightly more aesthetically pleasing as they get ready for tomorrow's matchup. Gullo found the skate of Miguel Diaz, couldn't handle it. Miguel Diaz keeps it in to Gullo. Slides it ahead. Hall behind the net, looking out in front, broken up by Price. Gullo back to the point. Miguel Diaz returns to Gullo. Tipped out in front, and it's kicked aside by Oregon before it even reaches Cooper. Sommerfeld stops it in front of the crease. Gives to Josh Colton. 3.5 minutes to go in the third period. 2:05 left to go in the Continental Electric Products power play. Blaisdell turned it over, and Blaisdell pokes it away from DeCumbis. Has better positioning. Spinning back around, Brendan Ronan to Blaisdell. Cody Oakes over the blue line, off the end boards, coming down, Blaisdell. And down the length of the ice, first one there would have been Marty, but Sommerfeld comes out of the crease to play it. 2:45 to go, third period, 7-goal Port Huron. Tellstrom back behind the net, Ronan backhands it. Cody Oakes to the point, Colton to Miguel Diaz. Into the corner. Oakes and Bussel collided. They both lost the, went a skate up in the air. 2:10 to go, third period. Miguel Diaz absorbs the hit, backhands far side, one touch, finds Nick Gullo. The forward on the rush. He was knocked off the puck. To neutral ice, Miguel Diaz has it 1:50 until the final horn. 26 seconds left to go, and a whistle. I believe an offside call as we come back to neutral ice. Fan reminder, if your sides are a little off, Great Clips can put your hair back on side. Or excuse me, that will be an icing call. My apologies. To let you know, Great Clips is the official haircut of the Motor City Rockers. Port Huron has it off the draw. Rockers behind the net. Colton finds the tape of Checo. Puts on the brakes, near side Gullo. Federally deflected the puck into the corner, and a high stick will stop play. 1:26 left to go in the third. Neutral zone draw. 4 seconds until the Prowlers have killed off another penalty. Right to Gullo. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Blaisdell to the middle, Sneath. He'll flip it in deep. Parsons behind his own net. And reminder, these two teams will rematch tomorrow, 6 o'clock at McMorran Arena. Our first road broadcast of the season. As we're hoping for a much better effort from these Rockers as a 3-game losing streak will be snapped. The Prowlers will come into the game winners of 8 straight. And as you've seen tonight, playing some pretty darn good hockey, taking advantage of any and every Rockers mistake. Hall missed wide. 20 seconds left. Miguel Diaz is knocked off the puck. Gavrilovich along the low glass. Cooper puts it back in neutral ice, and Port Huron, arguably the most dominant showing they've ever had against Motor City, earns a 10-3 win. We'll step aside, we'll recap when we come back. You've been watching Rockers Hockey.
Up in front, shut doors! Summers one now, shut doors! Here we go, Snitson, and we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
Back here on the Rockers Media Network, fans, unfortunately, one to forget here tonight, 10-3 Port Huron. The first time in Rockers history, the purple and black have given up double-digit goals. Started with 7 in the first period. In order, Dylan Marty, Braden Simmons-Fisher, Dylan Marty, Austin Federley, Drew Welsh, and Lucas Lakeney. That was the first 7 goals of the game came in the first period. And at that point, wasn't much left. Now, I'll give the Rockers a lot of credit. they kept fighting. They played with a little bit of vigor the rest of the way, as the rest of the game was 3-3, but at that point, Port Huron doesn't have to play very tight. They don't have to worry as much about their own end. TJ Sneath got a power play goal from Nick Gullo to get the scoring started for Motor City. Chartrand and Bobby Price netted the next two. Eli Rivers made it 9-2. Nick Miguel Diaz made it 9-3, and Jamie Bussel made it 10-3 as the score goes final. One final reminder, tomorrow night, 6:05 puck drop at McMorran Arena. Make sure to tune into the Rockers Media Network for that one, hoping for a much better showing. Get your final score, Port Huron 10, Motor City Rockers 3. Thank you to all the fine workers at Park Avenue Productions. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday night. I've been Brady Beaton, the voice of Motor City Rocker Hockey. Thanks again for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow at McMorran Arena.